Hello everybody, my name is Olena Tkach and today I'm going to talk about tools for the development of the environmental goods markets as essential instruments in the age of global value chains, new trends in markets development, barriers and capacity building options. You may find complete version of my presentation below this video. Enjoy! According to the principles of sustainable development, environmental protection must be an integral part of the development process that cannot be considered in isolation. SDG goals number 8 and 12 are closely interconnected and increase consumer awareness on environmental products in the market. Next slide shows us a ratio between market offer and consumers' demand. Option A, the USSR model, the economics of deficit, when a state determines the demand itself and regulates the offer. Option B, idealistic scenario, which doesn't exist actually, when supply and demand coincide. Option C, a market economics, when demand is always lower than offer and producers or suppliers have to compete. That's why Goal 12 is interconnected to Goal 8. Consumers' demand determines market offer. Transition to a sustainable development model in developing countries is possible under the conditions of modernization of all sectors of the economy by switching to energy-efficient, resource-efficient and cleaner production technologies. One of the main priorities for state should be the increase the market share of products with improved environmental characteristics and therefore the switch to means of indirect regulation of market relations. Among them, in particular, such instruments as environmental standardization, certification and eco-labeling, sustainable public procurement, in accordance with national standards harmonized with international ones, as well as the assessment of the full life cycle cost. Green investments have become a global phenomenon. The benefits of green investments are obvious. Economic benefits, reduced consumption of resources per unit of production, and a proportionate increase in revenue. Environmental benefits, more efficient use of resources, reduced production waste, and environmental pollution. Social benefits, increase in the number of jobs, increase in the incomes of the population, increase of standards of quality of life. In 1999-2000, the International Organization of Standardization, ISO, developed and adopted the international standards of the ISO 14020 series, environmental labeling and declarations. Eco-labeling has a wide scope from food, industrial products, building materials, to real estate and services. Product life cycle is the consecutive and interconnected stages of the manufacturing process from raw material extraction to final disposal. WTO, World Trade Organization, with this regard recommends to have these criteria available not less than 20% of goods placed in the market. Target balance is 25% of eco-products and 75% of the market are taking efforts to follow them. Initially, voluntary standards influence the information of the market for eco-friendly goods and over time services. Then, gradually, the requirements of these standards are integrated into mandatory state rules. This is a systematic process of improvement called the elevator in the export environment. In the trend of responsible consumption, the demand for environmentally certified products in the public and private sectors is increasing. It is possible to draw an analogy with the Paris Climate Agreement to GHG reduction. It is also voluntary, but in recent years we have seen a significant increase in climate initiatives, including at the level of cities, regions and business. By the way, right now you may stop this video and download the soft eco-label guide at your smartphones and check yourself. All trade points nearby. Green class or green office is one more option to promote eco-materials manufacturing and sustainable consumption. Next slide shows you logos of program members of Global Eco-Labeling Network. All discussed above bring us to the conclusion that only multi-criteria approach is efficient. The requirements of the standard are adapted to the requirements of European Union legislation. Barriers form factors that slow down the development of global value chains. So, how to progress? Link to national process and instruments, engage with national marketing surveillance authorities and regulators responsible for overseeing consumer marketing and claims on a national level. Continue to lift the guidelines to a more political and strategic global sphere. Build partnership with a focus on a replication effect. State support for green modernization. Clear government criteria for sustainability of goods and services should be adopted at the national level. To define priority categories, to establish a criteria base for prior categories of goods and services with reference to the requirements of the relevant standards with a clearly recognized presumption of conformity. To ensure proper state monitoring of its implementation. Conduct systematic outreach to raise public awareness. Involvement of retailers in informing consumers in commercial networks about environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, energy-efficient products. Apply for the technical assistance to conduct the survey to assess the real capacity of environmental goods and services market. Develop roadmap based on European Union experience. If you consider this information interesting, please check out the full version of my presentation in the description below this video. Thank you for your attention.